How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about Nick Sandmann suing the Washington Post for $250 million. Now, I got to back up a little bit to explain how we've gotten here, what's going on, the history of the whole situation, what they're suing them about, who else may be sued, and a few more things. Let's start from the top. Last month, at the end of January, I did at least 2 videos featuring Nick Sandmann defending him against the media who were saying that he was a bigot, a racist, anti-brown person, anti-immigrant, or whatever. There was a video that went viral featuring Nick and a so-called native elder. I did not know what was going on. I'm like, okay, all I see is the kid staring down the old man. Why is that happening? What's the context of this? What's really going on? The media did no such thing, which is basic journalistic standards. They didn't do that. They instantly went to, oh, because he has on a MAGA hat, he's a white kid, he must be a racist, he must be a bigot, he must hate this man because he's native and because he is beating his drum and doing this traditional native stuff. That was what the media ran with. They were talking about Nick Sandmann, the Covington Catholic high school kid, 16 years old, 115 pounds, soaking wet, was blocking the native guy. He was swarming the native guy with his classmates. They were basically trying to paint him as some kind of aggressor and the native guy as a victim. But as we were able to see more video, as we were able to get more witness statements, as we were able to understand what was going on with the guy, the so-called native elder, Nathan Phillips, with his history of rabble rousing and stuff like that, being in music videos, as we were able to understand all that, then we understood who was a true victim in the situation, which was Nick Sandmann. He was standing there in Washington, D.C. with his classmates on Lincoln Memorial, waiting for his bus to come pick him up to either go back home or to go to the hotel to conclude their field trip they were on. Okay, we're talking about Catholic high school kids. As they're standing there, you have the Black Hebrew Israelites screaming at them, talking about these are future school shooters, they're incest babies, all kind of just derogatory and hateful stuff. Now, there was some chanting going on for the kids to try to drown the Black Hebrew Israelites harassment out. Then here comes native guy with his drum, just hammering off, just wailing away, singing all kind of stuff loudly in kids' faces. Okay. Nick Sandmann just happened to get caught on camera being one more kid who the native guy was in the face of. Just from that one little small clip, people automatically assumed that Nick Sandmann, because he was white and had on the MAGA hat, was the perpetrator of some kind of hate crime or something like that. That ain't the case. And right when this whole thing played out, I said that Nick and the rest of the kids should sue these people that have put out false statements. Okay, they're being sued for libel. Washington Post, that is. The legal team for Nick Sandmann has also put out letters of preservation to other people and organizations, namely Elizabeth Warren, Alyssa Milano, Jim Carrey, New York Times, CNN. The list goes on. I'll put a list of them and the actual lawsuit in its entirety in the description box below so you can read it for yourself. But I'm glad this is happening. People are talking about, oh, freedom of speech, freedom of speech. Well, there are laws on the books right now against libel and slander. You can't just say whatever you want, okay? You can't call the president and send him a bomb threat and be like, well, I got freedom of speech. That's not how that works. You cannot put out false information and damage somebody when it could have been prevented. If you are a major news outlet, a big time celebrity, you have a responsibility to do a little bit of due diligence, get some information. You know, I was able to find out the truth about Nick Sandmann and the so-called native elder Nathan Phillips from doing a simple Twitter search, just finding more video to figure out what was really going on with the whole thing. Not just taking the one little short clip, 10 seconds at face value. I want to understand the context. I want to understand why these two people were there. I wanted to know more. The media did not care. Why? It was all about pushing the narrative about racist, white Trump supporters with the MAGA hats on. The MAGA hat is a new white hood, all kind of stuff like that. Okay. And the reason why it matters is because people believe this stuff. People believe the mainstream media. CNN talks about, this is real news. This ain't fake news. This is an apple, banana, all this, that, and the third. If that's what you want to hang your hat on, you can't put out false information without doing any kind of investigation, any kind of research, and then be like, oh, my bad, we're sorry. Nah, you have to have basic journalistic integrity, basic journalistic principles. You can't throw them away when you feel like it's convenient for you to throw them away. That's not how this thing works. So hopefully he gets broken off. I know Washington Post is owned by Amazon, which is owned by Jeff Bezos. He has plenty of capital in his pocket, probably richest man on planet Earth, if not close to it. So he has that money. They probably settle out of court rather than going through this lengthy process, rather than going to trial, because really it'd be embarrassing for them because they made a terrible mistake here. So go ahead and pay that money, cost of doing business, and hopefully others get sued and lose as well. This would be a way for people to just take a little bit of time to think. You have a big platform. You have a big organization. What you say, it sticks. Even after this whole thing has been disproven, people are still talking about Nick Sandmann, the victim in the whole situation, as some kind of racist, hateful person. They still see the MAGA hat as some kind of racist, hateful symbol. And when you have these hate crimes that happen all the time, usually people mostly see the first story that comes out. And that's what they believe forever. Some may see the second story and then change their mind. But the problem is people see the second story less than the first one. First of all. Second, people, even if they do see the second story, may not really believe it because it's already been put in their mind that the first story was true. So it's hard to come back and be like, no, that's not true anymore. You see what I'm saying? So it's very important that you get your facts and your ducks in a row. The freedom of speech argument does not apply. You cannot say whatever you want, whenever you want. There are already laws in the books against libel and slander. If there were no such thing, then the media can just put out whatever they want about Trump. Anything, it wouldn't matter. They can say Trump, got a 13-year-old tied up in his basement, all kind of stuff like that. And they would say, yeah, we did it. They would just lie all the time. There would be no repercussions against them lying. And that can damage people's reputations. Really, they could influence a whole election and a whole world like that. So you got to have laws that make people, that make organizations stick to some principles when it comes to reporting on people, especially innocent kids. We ain't talking about, celebrity figures, people in the public eye that expect to have things thrown out there about them that may or may not be true. Not saying it's right, but they expect it. But kids, innocent kids that are not public figures, that are minding their own business, waiting on the bus, that's not how that goes. So that's pretty much all I got. What say you? Are you glad that Nick Sandmann and his legal team are suing the Washington Post, among others? Like I said, Elizabeth Warren, CNN, New York Times, Jim Carrey, Alyssa Milano. Should they all be sued? Or is it more important to have freedom of speech? Can you say whatever you want? Can you be CNN and say that X, Y, and Z person over here is a racist, they're a bigot, or even worse, they touch kids or whatever the case? Okay, can they say that without any kind of repercussion, no kind of legal penalty? Because that can really hurt you forever. Even if it's come to be that it's not true, it doesn't matter because once the first story is out, it's out. And a lot of these organizations know that. They know that if they put out a fake story that will get a lot of attention, a lot of clicks, a lot of views, they got the money, they got paid, so they can put out an apology, a retraction, and have that be that. But that shouldn't be all there is to it. There should be a legal penalty that's in the form of financial. So Nick Sandmann will get broken off by Washington Post because they don't want to take it to trial. They don't want to go down that road because it would be way too embarrassing to try and bully some 16-year-old kid and then bully him again in the whole legal situation. So that is all I got. Whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.